Hey everyone, welcome back to presentation 2, talking about some of the failure mechanisms or stuff that we've identified on site, and just reiterating some of the earlier points in terms of how we build the wall. Okay. So essentially the sticking points with the failure from the engineer's report were the rake of the wall, okay, and the embedment. Okay. Now a couple of things to remember that as I said, once we pivot these rocks, 60% of the time, that front edge of that rock is going to come up. You just need to look at the rocks that we work with. 60-70% of the time, it's going to come up. It just depends on the shape, because we don't have these rocks available in that shape. The other thing too is because we use machines and we're tracking along the front of the wall to backfill, all right, to deliver rocks, this whole area here does get displaced, all right, so it gets chewed up, it gets munched up. We backblade that and we put it back as best as we can, all right, but with the bobcats and the excavators coming along this here, it does get minced up a bit. Now over a 3-year period, this being on such a downslope, okay, there would be without a doubt 50 to 100 mil of erosion of that topsoil coming off that front edge, okay, without a doubt, okay, and you can't stop that. That's why it's crucial for us to have this embedment here. Now, to ensure that you have a clear picture, and I pointed this out in the building part, this rake and this embedment is so crucial, okay? That there is the most powerful thing you'll see on this whole report, which is a side profile shot of the initial cut, 350 down from there, and another 200 down on this side, all right? 600 mil, all right, over that. So this rock actually hits the front of that level and lies back into here, like so. All right, the rock's still on site, and this is an indication of that rock there, okay? Now going into the failure, when we turned up to this wall, this is what greeted us, okay? This picture here. So we turned up to this wall, this is what greeted us. Now, after working everything out with the builder, okay, and deciding on a course of action, we basically knew that because of the cut, right, we had to get all the stuff out and back down to natural. Now, if you have a look at this diagram here, okay, at that point, the builder worked off the principles of 900 out, right, 900 down, 900 out, 900 down. Now that's fine if you haven't got a big 2.5 meter gravity wall on top of it, okay? So the basic principles of one-to-one cut, which they did for the majority of this, which was fine because the ground was reasonably level. What happened though, as the contour picked up and they tried to keep the pad level for the house, incoming house, that cut on this side became deeper and deeper and deeper. At the furthest pinch point, that got out to 1.5 meters. And you can still measure that on site today to the original cut. This was quickly covered with 400 mil of road base, but if you have a look at the initial earthworks, right, 1.5 meters at this point here, where it transitions off into that cut. And that's probably a better indication of the scale of the cut. There's the natural ground, right? There's the cut, 1.5, easily. Now, if we have a look at that in a context of how irresponsible that cut is, okay, purely because of the load that comes through these walls, the angle of the repose, right, which is not here because this is all natural ground, it's probably a little bit higher up coming through this section here, all right. Obviously with the rain events, it's got nowhere to go, it's got nothing to hold it, all right. The most important thing is this cut was done at that point 850 mil off the wall, okay, off the boundary. Now the approved plan, the stamped approved plan was 2.6, okay, so that's where the wall was meant to be, 2.6 meters off this wall, not 850 mil, okay. And I believe there was some off the cuff chat with the earth movers who were following directions from the builder and the owner. So as you can see, 850 approved plan, 2.6, big difference, okay. Now once we made a game plan, it was a pretty full-on proposition on how to clean this up without affecting the existing walls, all right, and getting it out and making it safe, okay. So everyone comes in and starts saying this isn't done, that isn't done, but I tell you what, it was a big skill set to get all this out, right, without affecting too much of the wall either side, and put this nice strong beam and core back in. And that's why I'm disappointed when people start talking about rakes and stuff, which I'll explain right now. So, as per the engineer's instructions on site, we dug the system out, which is now acting like a big beam in the middle of this wall. okay, 400 mil down, okay, and of course the biggest rocks we could get our hands on, 800 to a meters, sitting in that trench. Then we core filled that with 25 MPa concrete, all right, put another course on and core filled that. So the actual structure itself that you see there today has concrete on average to about 1.6 high. Now, this area here where the illusion of that 1.5 rake is, the reason for that was if we continued that wall rake on its initial one there, we were going to go over the boundary. With everything that was happening, we decided we would do a grouted wall spec, stiffen that up a bit, all right? That would allow us to come here and stay inside the boundary. So that explains, right, the shallower back slope on the fixed area. It's under a grouted wall spec. Then we had to massage it back in to feather into either side of the walls, which we've done a fantastic job on, all right? An absolutely fantastic job. If we have a look at some of these pictures here, this level out to here, right, and we were actually on top of some gravel there, that shows you this point here, right, which when the cut was originally done, it was 1550 mil from natural ground down to the cut. 1550 mil from natural ground down to the cut, 850 mil off the wall. And these levels are still on site. The existing ground level, right, the existing cut level are still on site for you to see, all right? This is an indication of the 900 by 900 beam that runs along most of the wall until that contour picks up and it got deeper. So for us, it's disappointing that the cut hasn't been acknowledged through this process, through two different reports, and I think a secondary report said that this cut here had nothing to do with it, and we find that totally unacceptable and very hard to fathom, okay, once we've outlined this. And I must say that everything I've talked about today can all still be shown on site, and these photos are available for your perusal. Thank you.